This is Abrahm with Pathfinder TV, instructor at the Pathfinder School. Back with another video. What we're going to do in this one is continue what we were talking about last week, and that was char. I just went over using less than optimal material or stuff that you really don't want to use or is not very ideal or the conditions are bad. I did that last week, and I blew a bird's nest made out of pine needles to flame with char. But this week I want to talk about actually making char. We are going to start with just 100% cotton, just so you guys get the basic understanding of how to do it. Then next week we will go over using more natural materials and stuff that's more renewable, because it's out in the woods and you can collect it, opposed to using up the cotton you have in your kit. You want to save the cotton you have in your kit for more important things, or if you don't have to use it, don't use it at all until you really need it, because again, you can find the stuff to char off the landscape. So I built this fire up. It's already dying down to some coals. I went ahead and started it before the video so you guys didn't have to watch me start it, because you obviously know us instructors can start fires by now. I'm going to let it die down to coals, and you could actually throw it in a direct flame, but I find it easier, especially for demonstration purposes, to let it die down to coals so you don't have the smoke from the flames interfering with the smoke coming out of this bottle, so you guys can see when to take it out. Just so it's easier for the camera to see, but again, it really doesn't matter. I could throw this in there right now and it would char. So what I have is just a container. I think some kind of like cinnamon sticks or something came in. It's like a holiday thing. I got it at the dollar store. Very cheap. Of course, it was $1. So just eat whatever was in it or throw it out and just take your container. What I did here was I drilled a very small hole. Let me find it on here. Through the lid and the lip there of this container. You don't have to do that. Drilling holes is not necessary. You don't have to do that, and if I thought back on this, I would not do that. And excuse my dog in the background, he's probably found a rabbit. But I would not drill a hole in this thinking back on it, because it compromises the container here, so I can't store something in it like water or something like that without it overfilling. But again, it's at the top of it, so it doesn't interfere too much, and whether you drill the hole or not, the gas will escape, or the smoke will, from carbonizing the material. Just easier to have a visual, this hole, because you know exactly where that smoke's going to come out of. But again, it is not necessary. You don't have to drill a hole in it, because these lids on most of the containers and your nesting cup with your bottle there's a little bit of a gap enough for the gas to escape to create your char. Next, I have 100% cotton. It's got to be 100% cotton, no mixtures. You can use blue jeans, denim, whatever. But I just have an old t-shirt is all I have. I'm going to cut it up into sections, probably 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. It really don't matter. Heck, I could probably throw that whole thing in there and it would char, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cut it into sections here. So, get my knife out. Just cut it into the ideal sections here. Don't have to be perfect. So, put my knife to the side. Anywhere like this is what I like to do. Take it. This is a fairly good sized container. Make sure everything's out of it, moisture or anything like that. So it could store a lot of stuff. I could char this char cloth, cattails, punk wood, fungus, all sorts of things in this. Now I'm just gonna, I probably rip this because I got it started. Put that to the side. Cut a couple more pieces up here. Very easy. I just like to stuff it in there, no specific way. I don't like to ball it up or roll it up or anything like that. Don't matter to me. It's all the same thing. I'll probably finish this piece up right here, and that will be good. So let me put this piece of cloth, I'll cut this one in half, and we'll call that good. That's 5 pieces that will be in here. This is pretty basic stuff, guys. I got 2 more right there. Stuff it down in there, make sure nothing's exposed there. Then I'm just going to line the holes up that I have drilled here, just for a visual, and we will be good to go. I want to explain to you guys right now what exactly is happening throughout this process, because a lot of guys probably don't know, or a lot of people don't know exactly what's going on. But basically what you're doing is you're using a container. You don't have to use a container. You can actually, before you start your fire, dig under it, put your char in there, punk wood, char cloth, bury it with a light layer of dirt or whatever you dug up, and start a fire on it, because it's still going to char that way. But you're taking one of the legs of the triangle of fire out of the way. The triangle of fire is heat, oxygen, and fuel. Obviously what you're taking away is the oxygen. You're starving it of air, therefore you're carbonizing the material. You're charring it completely, superheating it, and that is what's going on. Then it's going to turn like a really charred black color, and it will take a spark very easily from flint and steel, and of course a ferro rod if you want to conserve that resource. So that's basically what is going on. The only way you cannot overdo char, I'm sure if you left it in there forever, obviously it would overdo, but other than that, if you leave it in there maybe 10-15 minutes over the time that the smoke stops coming out of this container, which we will talk about, you will be fine. It don't matter. But what you got to watch is when you pull it off the fire, you do not want to open this or give it any air until it's cool to the touch. Because if you do, you're putting oxygen back into the triangle of fire, therefore it will light right up, and there went your char, your material, your hard, maybe you went out and searched for punk wood and you let air to it before it cooled off, you're screwed. So make sure you don't do that. Make sure you let it cool completely before you open it up, or you're letting that third leg of the triangle of fire back in there and you will screw your char up. What to do here is, since this fire died down, I've got a small bed of coals because this is the only project I plan on doing today, so I didn't need a huge fire. But basically there's no flames right now. You can do it with flames. I just want you guys to really get the concept of what's going on in this container more than anything. So that's why I'm making sure all these flames are out. These are plenty hot for this project. I'm just going to pick this up. Make sure the hole is facing this way so you guys can easily see where the smoke's coming out or the gases are escaping. And I can probably maybe do it with my hand here. Yep, it's not too bad. Get it seated on there. You can lay it down to the side, just make sure that the lid is a tight fit so the lid don't fall off and air gets back to it, and you're good to go. So basically I could scrape some of these coals up around here just to make it heat quicker, but what I'm going to do is look for smoke, and it's going to come out all the way around this lid most likely, but this hole is going to be exactly where the gases will escape for the most part. And when the smoke starts coming out of there, you want to wait until the smoke stops completely. If it's coming out of there very small amount of smoke, still wait a little bit longer. You want to make sure it's completely gone coming out of that hole, and that's when you know it's safe to pull off. Wait till it cools off and you can open it up, and you should have finished char cloth. If it's not finished, if it's still the color of your shirt, who cares? Put it back on the fire, finish it, and you're good to go. Finished up the char cloth. I have it right here, and I had to put it back in the fire because it didn't char up all the way, which is completely okay. All you have to do is put it back in the fire and let it heat back up to finish it off. The rest of it's in here. I'll go ahead and show you guys. I mean, I'll put that in there, but all of it, there's a whole bunch of char I made, so I'll be good for a while. I already have some from my kit, but I'll use this too. I'm gonna take a piece. I don't need a piece that big, that's a huge piece. So I'll pull it in half. Get it on my flint and steel here. Piece of flint. Lay it on there directly. And throw sparks onto it. There we go. I'm sure you guys can see it. I want to put it back out to do it again, so you guys can definitely see it works, and so I know it works. I don't want faulty char cloth to go in my kit. Put it back out. There we go. So it does work. Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll set this down so you guys can see it's going. And it wasn't a really large piece. Grab some hay over here. we were using for beds the other night. We were sleeping out here. This stuff's kind of wet because that tarp kind of went crazy on me. But basically, same thing, put it in there, taco it up, pay attention to the wind direction, raise it up in the wind right now. You can just watch the smoke come up and from the fire also and see which way it's blowing. But up at this hilltop here, it's blowing all over the place, so I mean it really don't matter too much. Just don't blow against it. Raise it up. See which, there we go. It's blowing everywhere right now, so it's hard to tell which way is the wind direction. So right there, maybe one more gentle blow. There we go. It's almost like you're breathing fire. It's that easy, guys. I could sit and hold this all day if I wanted to, but I don't need to. It's starting to go out a little bit there because it's wet. That wind's changing all on me here. Fighting it a little bit, but there we go. Put it down over there. We're good to go. So that's basically it, fellas, guys and gals. So next week, what we will do is go over how to actually utilize natural char. We'll go out and find it. Cattails. Hopefully we'll get to that, and definitely punkwood. And we will show you guys how to do that, because it is a little bit different technique when you're striking the flint and steel. But if you practice with it, it'll be just as easy as using char cloth. And guess what? You can find out in the woods, and you don't have to use your cotton from your kit. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This has been Abrahm with Pathfinder TV, instructor at the Pathfinder School. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed your long weekend. And I will catch you next week. Have a good one.